today with Kreg McCollum. Kreg is the Vice President of Energy Solutions at Leidos. How are you, Kreg?
I'm doing great. How are you, Aaron?
I'm doing pretty well. So second full day of the conference. How are you feeling?
Feeling great. It's been a really good conference. Austin's always a wonderful place to be and enjoy the rest of your day as well. A lot of good friends here as well, people that you know in the industry, so it's a great time to get a chance to catch up too.
Is this your first ETS?
It is. It's the first time I've actually been to ETS. Obviously get to a lot of different conferences, and I've typically had ones that have kind of overlapped. This has been a real priority for us this year, and it's really been a good show.
Great. And so how did you hear about it? I know that y'all are involved in?
Sure. So we've been involved in ETS, and we've sent some other people before in the past. This year in particular, one of my colleagues, Ian McLeod, is on the board at ETS and really talked to us quite a bit about getting a little more involved in it. And so that's sort of how we've gotten more engaged and delivered into a sponsorship and working together with Ian and then with ETS staff. So
we've had one full day of content. What did you like most about yesterday? Did you have anything that stood out to you?
Sure. I think what really kind of stands out is maybe more broadly than just the individual sessions is the fact that this is such a forward-looking conference. It's a conference where everybody that's here is looking sort of at what comes next. It's not so much of what I've done as to it is what we are doing and where we're going, which is, I think, outstanding. It's really important for everybody to look that way. I think I enjoyed a great deal of the work on, in particular, some of the folks who discussed things like data analytics, which is something we're very passionate about. So I think it's outstanding to see things like, I think one of the things that we've seen in the past has been people talking about data mining and the gathering of data. And one thing I've really noticed is I haven't heard that term once while I've been here, which is outstanding because it's really about what you do with the data and the actionable work that you can get out of that data, as opposed to just sort of having all of it. So I think the industry is really evolved in that way, and it really shows at a place like this.
Right. So I've heard, a lot of the panels talking about the cloud, how it's changing business models, and we're in this space of like rapid innovation. How does your organization tie into all of that?
Sure. So we also are firm believers in the cloud as a tool, right? It's not a thing in and of itself, but it does allow people to access information, share information, network, as you will, across an entire area. And it provides an opportunity for vast amounts of data to be synthesized and analyzed and used in a way that allows us to kind of make some decisions and make actionable decisions, things that will help the utilities and ultimately help their customers.
Right. So at ETS, we really try to make sure we have representatives of all different areas across the energy. We have regulators, academia, utilities, vendors. Why is that important for a conference like this?
Oh, absolutely. That's a really good question. That's one of the things that's important for us going forward is that anything that's going to get done, everyone expects rapid change, right, at this point, and moving things forward quickly. And a utility in particular can't do that on their own. This has to be a collaborative effort between all the stakeholders that are involved, which is the utilities, the customers, the vendors, the regulators, legislators, everybody who's got a stake in how we develop this from policy through implementation. And so getting everyone's perspective and getting everyone on the same page, and maybe not always on exactly the same page, but at least collaborating towards that end is really outstanding.
Great. So tell me why design for energy is important, especially as a solution provider. Why is that important?
Sure. So one of the things that certainly you look at now is that energy gets looked much more as a holistic view as opposed to the generation and delivery one way of energy. Energy becomes now a vast network. It's transactive, effectively. And so designing for energy both within the structures of how that transactive market takes place, and also in terms of something as simple as designing your anything from buildings to how you build in energy efficiency and demand response, the other users of energy and providers of energy, whether it's commercial or industrial or residential. It's essential to build that in so that folks can be flexible. As I said before, things move really, really quickly. And in order for that to happen, you kind of have to get comfortable with the fact that you don't know exactly what's going to happen. but you have to have enough flexibility in your design to allow you to make those changes going forward.
Right. Is there anything that you've learned so far? Have you had an aha moment yet?
I think it's been more than an aha moment. I think it's been very validating to some of the things that we kick around and think about. I think you're comfortable and happy to know that others are thinking along the same lines, at least, particularly the folks that we deal with in the utility space. In some respects, you kind of want to think that you're the only ones that think that way, that you're way ahead, and you're not. Everybody else is thinking about a lot of the same stuff. But it's been valuable. I think maybe the closest thing I've had to an aha moment was, it's not like I haven't heard it before, but it really sort of hammers things home. I think I was sitting in a session yesterday, and the idea of Metcalfe's law came up. And it was Rayford Smith kind of threw that one out there, and it's the idea that a network is more valuable based on the number of connections it has, right? So the more connections you have, the more valuable the network is. It's kind of, Facebook operates off that principle, LinkedIn operates off that principle, and a grid can operate off that principle as well. The more folks that you can get connected to it, and whether you're directly serving them energy or not, it's more valuable. It becomes transactive in a way.
So I'm going to take a step away from the conference. You're visiting Austin. Do you have anything else on your list that you really want to see in the city?
Well, I've already done it. My big joy was getting a chance to stop in at Antone's and,
okay,
and listen to some music. You can't come to Austin and not listen to a little bit of music. I'm a big Stevie Ray Vaughan fan, so you got to stop in and see Antone's, which is kind of where he got his big name started.
That's great. So once this is all over, what is the key takeaway, do you think?
I think the key takeaway from this is probably, again, things are moving forward, and if you think about how we look at what moving forward means and the time frame that's in, it's so compressed. We talk about what's going to happen in the future. Well, the future's today. We talk about things and think about maybe where we were 5 years ago, and we were projecting where would we be in 5 years. We're way past almost where anybody would have thought. You can use solar generation even as a great example. And anybody in the industry who really saw where it was going 10 years ago, there couldn't have been many, right? I fully admit that I way underestimated it. I think there's a lot of that going on right now with the grid in particular, because that's really where things are happening right now. It's how do you develop the platform by which everything happens.
Great. Well, thank you for sitting down with me today, Kreg.
Absolutely.
I hope you have a good time for the rest of the conference and hopefully see you next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Aaron.